Because see, when I do something like this, it just brightens the hell up. Like that is plenty bright enough. Yep, that's working. Okay, I've been tinkering with the internet link. I can restart it from here. I don't have to get up and go in the other room and restart it, should that become necessary. And it looks like otherwise it's working fine. It just seems like every time I tweak something. Okay, hello everybody.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society.
You're in violation of secure communication procedures, Commodore.
So we just went ahead and fixed the glitch.
There is no America. There is no democracy.
Our fifth objective, a new world order.
There are no nations. There are no peoples. There are no Russians. There are no Arabs. There are no third worlds. There is no West.
Right-wing conspiracy.
What do you call it when the assassins accuse the assassin?
A new world order.
Thank you for plugging in to the Stones Unturned podcast.
Well, just a second there, Professor. We fixed the glitch.
I'm your host, Professor Thomas Henry Horan.
He reads everything.
Oh, hello there, you lucky devils. You are plugged in live to Professor Thomas Henry Horan and his infamous Stones Unturned podcast. Let me get, yes. Let me go around the mulberry bush one more time. There we are. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Creepy Crawl. Nobody here yet. That's fine. So tonight is the episode you were supposed to get Sunday. It wasn't quite ready Sunday. And I kept jibber-jabbering. Is your allergy medicine kicking in yet? Mine is kicking my ass. If I fall asleep in the middle of the live stream, just file out quietly, and the last person turn off the lights and close the door. I know it's a little dark. I wanted it to be a little darker. Maybe it's a tiny bit too darker. I wanted to be a shadowy figure. I've always wanted to be a shadow. I can change it right now. I don't want to change it. Oh, great. Is that brighter? Let me bring up something. Bring up a white page here. There we go. But now you can see the background. So you can kind of see the background. You see the background a little too much for my taste. So somewhere in the middle, maybe. About there, maybe. Isn't this fun? Okay, I don't think you can see the background quite so bad. I'll see how this works. That's too bright. It's a little too bright. But that looks okay. But I'm not like this much. I'm mostly like this. There's mostly something like this going on. So, turning that down just a tiny bit more. We'll go with that and see what happens. We will literally see what happens. 8 people on this one. 1 people on this. Hi, Anthony. 0 dropped frames. This is good news. Oh, God, it's only 5:49. I'm so sleepy. I will wait a few minutes. People are logging in. I will be live streaming the eclipse unless, of course, it's a rainy day. You won't see much. You'll see the neighborhood go dark, and then you'll see the neighborhood go light, and you'll hear me blah, blah, blah. I will be recording the actual moment when it goes to the diamond ring effect, but live streaming, that's going to be tough. I might live stream one, because I'll have 2 cameras running. Maybe I'll live stream one to one channel and live stream one to the other channel. Then I'll make a video where you see the diamond ring first. You have to rip your eyes away. You have to tear your eyes away, and you can't. It's so beautiful. But you have to, after, it's like one Mississippi, you have to turn away. You have to turn away. It does look like a diamond ring. Like, if you've ever seen a really good quality diamond, like in moonlight, that's what it looks like just for a second, but you have to turn away because that first sliver of sunlight will blind you. But you see the rest of the world, like, you can see the last one. There are people who haven't, there are scientists who've never seen a total solar eclipse because of weather, or like, like in the airplanes, they're not looking at it. They're just looking at a TV monitor. They're looking at pictures later. That's not the same thing as looking up at the sky, and the sun is black, but it's shining. There's this halo around it, and you can tell it's an object. The moon is an object. And then you realize it's 250,000 miles away, and it's big enough to block out the sun. An annular eclipse, you get the ring of fire eclipse, you can't look at those. You go blind. You can only look at a total solar eclipse, and it has to be total. So you get the little glasses and put them on. You don't see anything. What you see is a white dot, and you see a little black slice in it, and that you don't see anything. But when it's total, it's like nothing. I've seen sundogs. I've seen everything. I've seen rainbows. I've seen rainy days. I've seen fire, and I've seen rain. Hi, Baby Bull. Why are some states deploying National Guard for the eclipse? Well, there's this panic associated that it's going to cause power surges. Texas has everybody all a Twitter. Well, since they are heavily invested in solar power, remember the solar power that failed just recently? Remember that severe cold snap they had in Texas? Remember that? That was the very first Zoom meeting I had with the production company and network people. And most of them were in Austin, Texas. Their phones were going dead. They had no way to charge them up. They had every coat and piece of clothing they owned they were wearing because they'd had no heat in their homes for several days. And it was like 5 above zero that day. And these are professionals. They're having a meeting. That was my first meeting, my first Hollywood meeting. These people were freezing to death because of between the windmills and the solar. So they're afraid there will be power outages, power surges. I don't know. Nothing happened the last time, right? Did something happen the last time? Well, thanks, God's Only Gospel. Speaking of which, the book he's referring to is this book, The Myth of the Zodiac Killer, which I got the camera turned around, so I'll just show you. If you haven't read this book, you don't know anything about the so-called Zodiac Killer case. All you know is the myth. But the actual police reports, the actual witness statements, the actual fingerprints and the analyses, they all tell a very, very different story. "2012 was the last doomsday I signed up for. I told them I'm not signing up for any more doomsdays until one of these killer bees. Remember global cooling? Remember that? Remember the glaciers were coming back? Remember they went out there with their rulers and these glaciers were like, it's 6 inches closer. Remember that? The same scientist. It's the same scientist. He's really old now. Remember the ozone hole. Remember Y2K. Yeah, I think that's dark enough. I think that's light enough. Okay. Let's see, how many other doomsdays have I lived through? The asteroid, of course. World War III, nuclear, all-out nuclear war. What else have I lived through? Zombies, cannibals. So when COVID came around, I said, no thanks. Thanks, but yet thanks. I've had enough doomsdays. I just bought all the toilet paper. So I created the toilet paper shortage, just so you know. I started the whole panic buying. They're running out of toilet paper. I went to every Walmart. They're running out of toilet paper. I didn't have to actually buy any. All I had to do was run through the store. They're running out of toilet paper. They're running out of toilet paper. 3 Mile Island. Mount St. Helens. Those weren't necessarily doomsdays. Chernobyl. The Death Comet. That was a big-ass comet. Remember 96? February, March of 96? It was really cold that winter. It stretched from one horizon to the other. It was a massive comet. A massive comet. Did it have a name? It just had a number, right? So if you are in the totality and it's not cloudy, go outside and look. The last one, I have the video I'll show you probably the morning of or something. I'll show you a video. I'll show it to you soon. I was making a selfie video of me looking over my shoulder at the cloud that was over the eclipse is just starting. Because when it's partial, there's nothing to see. You want to look down. You want to see all the weird sundapples and things, okay? There's nothing to see. It's still a sunny. You really don't notice any difference till it goes dark. You see this curtain sweep across the earth at about 600 miles an hour. And then you look up. Pardon me. So I'm doing this. It's already gone total. And there's a cloud. I'm about to say something about, well, here's me and there's the eclipse. And the cloud lifted like a curtain and it was totality, was complete. And I'm like, wow. And I got to see it. Lasted a couple of minutes. It's like nothing else you have ever seen or ever will see. There are scientists who have chased these their whole lives and never got to see one, except through cameras, telescopes, things like. It's not the same as standing there with your mouth hanging open, because it's not supposed to look like that. You can see stars. So there's a comet right now that flares up from one night to the next. It's near Pisces, or will be. It's moving really fast. It's very close to the sun. You have to see it at sunset. So they're hoping during the eclipse, you'll be able to see the comet. It's green with red streaks. Yakutaki, did they give it a name? Yakutaki? Not Hale Bopp. Hale Bopp was talked about. But Hayakutaki. Hayakutaki was, that was the bright one. That was the one that stretched all the way across the sky. That one was astounding. But I was living up north and it was getting down to like 10, 15 below zero every night. So the sky was crystal clear. You could see Uranus without a telescope. You can see Uranus without a telescope if you know where to look. But nobody had ever seen it before. You have to know where to look. Because you have to see it out of the corner of your eye. And you have to realize it's a planet. But it is green. It is green. You can see Neptune with your naked eye. If you know, it helps if you know where to look. Well, yeah, you need to know where to look. And these planets have moved away now. You guys might not get to see them. Jupiter has been super bright the last couple of years. Have you noticed? Super bright. We're really close to Jupiter. It's been super bright. But the eclipse topped them all by, I've never seen anything like it. And I get to see two, unless it's April. It's the first week of April. It's 50-50. We'll get to see it. Because the other thing, if it's sunny, the shadow of the moon, the temperature drops and these popcorn clouds puff up. So by the time you get to the totality, it's cloudy right where you are. Like there will be a cloud that kind of like follows the eclipse. Edge of Eternity with Cornell Wilde. Okay. Thanks, Anthony. 6 o'clock. I'll start the episode in a minute and start recording in just a minute. Tonight, if the stream gets cut off, I'm just going to keep plowing through and recording. And because I've got a switch now. I can try to reset the thingy. Yeah, because it looks brighter here than it does there. So let me see what this looks like after tonight. Yeah, it's time to start talking about Columbine and Alex Jones and InfoWars and why I haven't talked about them before. I've joked about, I didn't know he was in Austin. But see, that was, I won't say 20 years. I flipped a coin between going to Austin and going to Hollywood around 84. I could go to Austin where the new thing was starting to happen and where I could go to Hollywood. And I went to Hollywood to see how it works, to see if I wanted to live there, see if I wanted to be in the business. That's where I found out I was really learning to be a producer. Well, I didn't find it out then, but that's what I was doing. Ended up learning how to be a producer. Now I'm glad I didn't. I would not have gone along with any of that crap. So I probably wouldn't have gotten it. And I was told by multiple people. See, the only thing I could even pretend to try to be was an actor. I had some acting classes. I couldn't sing. I couldn't dance. Couldn't do anything. I was only 18, 19. So I went there to see, because I've been around music business since I was born. But hadn't been any around the TV or movie business at all, really. Not at all. So I went there to see if I wanted to even live there. What's it like? What are people like? Do I want to do this? There were a lot of strikes against. It was super duper expensive. Blah, blah, blah. So I would just tell people I was an actor. And I was in a play and I was in a commercial. I've done a few commercials over the years. I have. And, but people would tell me I got invited to parties immediately. Like, when I look at me, now imagine me at that age, but I got invited to all the parties and everything. But people were telling me pretty early on, look, honey, if you ain't at least gay for pay, you might as well just climb back up on your turnip truck and go home, because you'll never get in any doors, and you'll never get through a single door in this town if you're not at least gay for pay. And everybody was telling me that, especially if you were young and you were an actor. So, but it wasn't like I took my acting career terribly seriously or anything like that. Mickey Rooney did tell me that I stunk, though. That was my acting career. But people were telling me, if and I'd get invited to parties, and been around gay people my whole life, but that wasn't my scene, and it was still a very segregated scene in those days. So I would just I got propositioned several times a week, and I was nobody. It was swinging Hollyweird for sure. I would just say, it's not my thing, and that was okay. Nobody blew up at me, but everybody was paying attention. What are your limits? What are you willing to do? What could you do? Yeah. So I'm just as glad that things worked out the way they did instead of the way but it wasn't like, I was going to kill myself it wasn't like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey wrote himself a check for $1 million. And he said, I'm not, quitting until I cash this check. But he had a career going. He was very successful in stand-up. He was much bigger than Jerry Seinfeld. But he went into movies instead, so. Most of them are gone now, baby bull. Most of them are gone. A lot of the sites in Jack the Ripper are still there. No kidding. I think 75% of Jack the Ripper locations are still there. They're still there. So, well, let's just get it going. Let me say goodnight and thank you very much to YouTube. I think everybody here tonight is actually on. Go ahead and get on the premium site. Character is what you are in the dark. That's one of my favorite quotes. John Lithgow was so good in that movie. I love that movie. Buckaroo Banzai, Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai in the Eighth Dimension. What a great movie. I don't pick that up, I'll never find it again. There we go. Okay. Hi, John. Alex Jones was up against Illuminati cheerleaders. Telling you that guy has been disinfo prop from day one. But let me dive into that a little bit tonight. Thank you all so much for plugging in on YouTube. Click the links in the description of this video. Get signed up. It's $9.99 a month. And it all goes in my pocket. Except for the very nominal fees. You're missing it. We've cracked the whole thing. We have cracked the whole thing. So thank you so much. We'll see you guys over at the Cool Kids site. Who's there now? People are showing up. Hi, Allard. Hi, Creepy Crawl. Hi, Johnny Rotten. Hi, Sticky Marks. Hi, Thomas Henry Horn, MFA. Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you all again probably Thursday evening. Pre-gaming another premium stream. Too hot for the tubes. Thank you so much. Good night. God bless. Banduna your cannibals. Stay plugged into the Stones Unturned podcast. What did it say?